morning, beloveds. All right. I woke up with my own voice again. Yay! And then I went outside. So, it's a little... I'm trying to get it back. All right. Let's try this again. Good morning, beloveds. We are in the Science Mind text. I'm doing the 1927, the original edition. And I'm reading, we are in chapter 2, Mind, the Greatest Discovery. And I'm starting on page 75. So this is part 2. I'm starting on page 75 with the section, Where Do We Get Our Mental Impressions? The paramount problem with philosophy now, as in the past, is how and from whence do we get our mental impressions? Kant says we are able to perceive an object because it awakens an intuitive perception within us. How could it awaken an intuitive perception within us unless the medium which created the object already existed within us? The intuitive perception was not the result of the perceiving of the object, but was itself the cause of the object perceived. This is what Emerson would have us understand when he says there is one mind common to all individual people. That which is apparently outside can become known to the individual through intuition because the perception and the perceiver must be in one and the same mind. No object can appear to exist in the objective world unless there is first a subjective world to perceive the object. There is no object on the outside of reality, but reality must be an infinite perceiver or an infinite mind. One mind common to all people. The Bible says, in spirit we live and move and have our being. Spirit, it, or God. Jesus said reality is not the mountain. Reality is not in the mountain nor afar off, but within us. So, without trying to define, without making any attempt to explain, we make the simple statement, mind is. Mind is, and mind is both universal and individual. I.e., it is not only universal and abstract, it is also individual and concrete. The mind, which is personified in the same mind, which is universal. This is the perception that Buddha, Jesus, and other great spiritual leaders had. They understood that the universe has to be one in order to be at all. Jesus saw it when he said in substance, if I cast out devils by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils, that is a house divided against itself, which cannot stand. And he also said, who hath seen me hath seen God. Jesus had arrived at the perception of oneness. Images of thought, although they appear to arise from without, actually arise from the objective side of that which is a part of the subjective within. In order that nature may be coherent and come into self-expression, there must be an objective, a manifest world. But that which is physically outside of us still exists in the same medium in which we have our being, and the intelligence by which we perceive it is the same intelligence that created it. Emphasis earnest there. The same intelligence that created it. Therefore, While it is objectively separate, it is subjectively unified. Our images of thought arise from within a medium in which both the one who sees and that which is seen exist in one state of inner unity. God exists in everything. God exists in me, and because God exists in me, I am able to recognize other beings in whom God exists. Spirit is the medium through which I am conscious of myself and others and of my environment. All right. Reading thought. Recognizing that we are surrounded by a universal mind, it does not seem strange that certain people should sense our thoughts, even when we are not aware of the fact, because thought operates through a medium which is universal, always present. It is almost certain that between friends, there is at all times a silent communication, a sort of unconscious mental conversation going on. When this arises to the surface of the conscious intelligence, it is called mental telepathy. This communication with others is going on all the time, whether the conscious mind is aware of it or not. These impressions are more or less vague and seldom come to the surface. They are there, nevertheless, and are gradually building into our mentality's impressions and forms of thought that are unconsciously and silently perceived. This all leads to the conclusion that what we call our subjective mind is really the use that we as individuals make of the universal subjective. Just as radio messages are operative through a universal medium, so our thoughts are operative through a universal medium. Ernest was a little weird. Getting back to the reading. Mental laws. As we think of the medium of radio transmission in terms of law, so should we think of the mental medium in terms of law. For the mental medium must be the law of mental action. While we might think of it as the mind of God, we could not think of it as the Spirit of God, for the mental medium is the automatic, while the Spirit must be the self-knowing. We could not call the universal medium of mind God any more than we could call electricity God. The universal medium of mind is but one of the many attributes of God, the avenue through which God operates as law. We should differentiate between universal mind and universal spirit. As we examine the subjective, we find it to be both intelligent and conscious, without knowing that it is intelligent and without being self-conscious. All law must be subjective. The soil knows how to make a seed and make a plant from it. Oh, no. Let me try that again. The soil knows how to take a seed and make a plant from it. It does not know whether it is making a tomato or a potato. If this were not true of the laws of nature, we could not depend on them. We should be confronted with caprice. One of the most difficult problems is to realize that when we are dealing with the law of mind, we are dealing with an absolutely impersonal thing. It knows how to create without knowing what it creates. Therefore, we must distinguish between the law of mind and the spirit which uses the law. The ancients taught that there is an infinite self-knowing spirit. One of the oldest sayings in the world is, spirit is the power that knows itself. In addition to which there is an infinite law which knows how to do, but does not care what it does. This law is the karmic law of Buddha, the law that binds the ignorant and frees the wise, as Anna Besant stated it. It is the cause and effect of the West, but it is not to be confused with Kismet, which is fate, because its tendency can be changed. There is a law in the universe which operates in a certain way according to the tendency set in motion, and does so mathematically, inexorably. We cannot destroy the law, but we can redirect its movement. Just as we plant seeds and later decide we wish something else, we go out and uproot the first seeds and plant others in their place. We are not thereby destroying the soil. We have simply determined to use it in a different way. When we are dealing with subjectivity, we are always dealing with that which is subject to conscious volition. Emphasis earnest. The conscious volition in the universe is what is meant by the spirit or God. The mental medium, the universal subjectivity, the law, is the doer of the word. Plotinus speaks of it as a doer, but not as a knower. He called it a blind force, not knowing, only doing. This is the principle in which we use in practice. We should distinguish between the conscious volition as spirit and the subjective law, which works with intelligence, but not self-conscious awareness. When this is realized, we shall no longer be superstitious about our use of the law. It has been difficult to get away from such a superstitious reaction because of a theological rather than a scientific approach to the subject. The law we are discussing is simply a law of nature, a force of nature. It happens to be a mental force and an intelligent and creative one, like electricity, which will either light our house and cook our food or electrocute us if we use it incorrectly. The threefold nature of God. We find then that we study our own being. As we study our own being, we begin to deduce what the nature of God or the universal being is. There is no way we can know God except by studying people. Someone may say God reveals itself. Yes, we think God reveals itself to us, but only by revealing itself through us. We know about God only as we judge what God must be by studying the nature of those things which we can somewhat analyze, plus that intuitive feeling we have of eternal verities. If we study the true nature of people, then we shall have delved into the real nature of God, or first cause, from which people spring. As we have found that people are threefold in their nature, we must deduce that God is threefold in its nature, i.e., God is spirit, or self-knowingness. God is law and action. God is result or body. This is the inner teaching of the Trinity. God as self-knowing spirit means the divine being whom we have always thought of and believed in, the being to whom we have prayed and whom we have adored. God as law means the way in which spirit works. And the law, in this sense, would be the servant of the spirit. God as body means the manifestation of spirit. Last section, Trinity of Being. This Trinity of Being appears to run through all nature and all life. For instance, there is electricity, the way it works, and its results, which is light or motive power. There is the seed, the creative medium of the soil and the plant. Turn it as we may, we are confronted with the necessity of a Trinity of Being. Throughout the ages, this Trinity has been taught. Every great religion and every great spiritual philosophy has taught this Trinity. Father, Son, Holy Ghost was the Christian Trinity. It is the thing, the way it works, and what it does. The thing is absolute intelligence. The way it works is absolute law, and what it does is the result. manifestation. The action of the thing itself is what the Bible calls the Word. Absolute intelligence. And we are done with chapter 2. And it's a lot. It's a lot. I'm like, I've read all that, and I'm like, now I need to go away and think about it. But I'm finding it helpful. Ironically, I wear a Trinity as well. It's actually, if you look at it, it's 3 arches. And it's an Irish Trinity. It's called a Triscale. Triscale. And most of the time what it stands for is maiden, mother, and crone, the 3 life stages of women. But it stands for 3. It's whatever 3. And so that's, our world is built on 3. You know, so if I was in Sesame Street, the word of the number of the day would be 3. And the letters would be S&M. Science of mind. But yeah, Ernest, it's like Ernest is all of the, and then he slides in that little, well, hey, you know what? I believe in mental telepathy. There's a whole lot of silent communication that does go on. Science has borne out that about 90% of communication is nonverbal. You know, for all that we talk a lot, there's a whole lot of nonverbal communication that goes on. Whether it's mental telepathy or whether it's body language, you know, there's that. And there's also history, you know, if you have a friend that you've known for a very long time, you do get to the point where you can finish each other's sentences. So it's like, you know what? That's one of the things when they went back and put out the 1938 edition, or what they put out recently, they put out an edition that has both the 1938 and the because there was a whole bunch of stuff that got taken out. Ernest was a little bit of a spiritualist. So, but when they first put the textbook out, they were like, we can't put all that out. People will think you're weird. So they took all that out. So they put it back in. But that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the original edition. Because most of us have this one, you know, and it doesn't, and then I don't have to worry about dealing with, some of the more interesting ideas. And maybe I'll go back and do that later. So, but I hope you're along for the ride. I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm getting to know Ernest a little bit better by doing this. Yeah. All right. So housekeeping, and then I'm going to get off and go enjoy my Catterday. Because the Blue Jays were back in the park today. And so I may have gotten 1 or 2 good shots. You know, taking pictures of birds is, they're fast little suckers. All right. So I'm just going to remind you, we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. We do encourage you to go and like, share, subscribe, follow, do all that. It helps bump us in the algorithm. We think we have interesting things to say. We think we have helpful things to say. So it's just one of the ways that you can support us. There are 2 ways if you want to know what's going on with the center. You can email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact. And those hot links are hot. If it says click here now, it will take you right to the information you want. Otherwise, our website is back up. So you can also go to creativelife.org. So, those are the ways that you can get to us if you need us, and see what's going on. All right. I don't know what I was about to say. So I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a restful day, a catter day, a take care of business day, a get some stuff done day, a rest day, a silly day, a cuddle with your fur babies day, a take care of yourself day, a silent day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are godly. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. then because today is Saturday and tomorrow is Sunday in 2024, then just lost my train of thought. We will have an amazing service for you. I don't know what the title is because I don't remember, but I'll get that posted a little bit later today. However, it will also be Mother's Day. So I'm quite sure Reverend Jesse will mention something about mothers. So take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.